The Zeta Project is easily the worst thing I've seen in the DCAU so far. So I watched the Zeta Project for the first time, and let me spare you some brain cells, it's not worth the watch. First off, the animation is awkward and blurry. Second, the plot is terribly boring. I'll be honest, I could only find season 1 online, and I don't really care about season 2. The first season was torture enough to get through, and according to Wikipedia, I don't think anything really changes in the second season. So what is the plot? Well, a robot introduced in the Batman Beyond show was originally programmed to be evil, but the robot is like, hey yo, I don't want to be evil. Naturally, no one believes that a robot can just decide to change his programming, so the whole plot is about Zeta trying to find his creator to prove his innocence. Gosh, it's so boring. He teams up with this orphan girl who's just as basic as you can get, which leads to the third point. The characters are forgettable and generic. Zeta is a robot who doesn't understand human culture. It's annoying because, unlike a good fish out of water story, Zeta doesn't learn to be more human. He can't. He's just a robot. So we're stuck in this endless cycle of Zeta being a confused robot. Then there's Ro. She's set up like this rebel, street kid, thug person, but has no moral dilemma. Take Static, for example. In his show, we see the moral conflict of possibly joining a gang, and the emotions are believable. It's because of this initial struggle that makes his journey to become a hero more interesting. But Ro, nah. She's just always good. She's just homeless. And then we don't even talk about the fact that she is homeless. The only plot that we get is that she's passively looking for her family or whatever. Point number 4. The world building sucks. So this supposedly takes place at the same time that the Batman Beyond show does, but it really doesn't feel like that at all. Where's the future tech? Where's the future slang? Where's the splicing that teenagers were into? I feel like Ro would totally be into splicing. Point number 5. The villains suck. We're just running from vague government agents, and the side villains were even worse. The only interesting bit in this entire show was a man named Agent West. He's got the same last name as Wally West, who's the Flash. He's got the same hair and the same voice actor. But unless this is changed in season 2, they do nothing with him except make him the most insufferable character in the entire show. Point number 6. The show is dated. First off, to access the internet, they have to go to these internet cafe things. I didn't even realize these existed until I watched the show. So you're telling me that the super advanced robot doesn't have access to Wi-Fi? Also, at the end of some of the episodes is this really weird bit where Ro and Zeta are talking about just the most random objects. I kid you not, it was so random and does a great job at making the show feel very dated.
Another object from the past?
This was a writing tool called a pen. They said it was mightier than the sword.
Uh-huh. Except a sword's bigger and sharper.
I noticed that too.
Lastly, point number 7. This is the part of the video where I'm supposed to find some sort of reference to the Holy Scriptures, but boy, did this unholy show make that difficult. The reason I did this is to prove just how much of our everyday lives can be traced back to the stories of the Bible. But going back to the Zeta Project, the overall plot, and let's be honest, I'm glad that there at least is an overarching plot, even if I don't think it gets resolved. But the plot for Ro is that she finds her parents, and the plot for Zeta is that he finds his creator. This ingrained desire that we all have to know where we came from is ultimately the desire to know who put us here. Beyond knowing who our parents are, I bet we've all wondered why and how we're here on Earth. It's not just Zeta and Ro looking for their creator, it's every human being on Earth who wonders who put us here and why. Seeing how I dedicate a portion of my videos to talking about the Holy Scriptures, I think my answer to this question is pretty clear. But what isn't clear is how everything in the DCAU has been so good. And then this show walks in. This is the last thing I'm going to rant about, but everything in the DCAU is about superheroes, and yet this show just has nothing to do with superheroes, except for a single crossover episode with Batman Beyond. Why? Anyway, those are the only brain cells that I can spare for this video. Alright, bye.